when someone asks JT a question about technique, JT can say, I know 5 different ways that we could approach this. Here's what Marcelo would do. Here's what Lo does. You know, like he has the almanac of jiu-jitsu in his head, right? And can break it down for them. I say, I don't know, I just do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. I'm JT. I'm here with Joey. Q&A. Let's go. Questions.
Where do they leave one?
They can go to bulletproofforbjj.com and go to the podcast tab, click it, go down, record a message. We'll play on the show.
Do it. First one coming in from Sam.
Hey guys, just after some advice. I'm new to the leg lock game, and the gym that I've moved over there specifically for getting into the new style of jiu-jitsu.
Dark arts.
But since I've been there, I've seen multiple guys not really walking away from knee injuries, ACLs and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
Is this a common occurrence with the modern leg lock game? You're seeing more knee and ankle injuries, or is it something that's kind of specific to the way we're training? Should I be looking at moving back to my old gym, as I'm at the moment the sole breadwinner for my my family while my wife's on maternity leave?
Oh, God.
So a bit worried about having a knee ripped apart and losing some income for 6 months. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Wow.
It's a question of the times, isn't it?
That is a legitimate concern, right?
Yeah.
I guess I would start with saying you can train leg locks without ending up with a knee reconstruction. So
Can be done.
It can be done. And I trained at a gym where they almost exclusively trained leg locks for a number of years, and no one got major knee recos out of it. Surprisingly, I am surprised to this day. But if you're noticing that people in that gym where you're training are getting injured a lot, you weren't to know that going in there, but you are playing with fire. Like if I'm going for a heel hook and Joey's going for a heel hook, and it's kind of like who goes first, who taps first, your chance of injury is high. Like you are putting your ligaments, you are literally rolling the dice. There's my ACL. How did I crap out? Did I win? You know, and when you win, it's not that great, especially if you injure your friend. You know, like there is very high chance that you could get injured. And if you are the sole breadwinner for your family, I don't know if I would have chosen the leg lock path. That's what I would say. I'd say it's a legit concern. And if your family is your priority, earning that money is your priority, I wouldn't be doing it personally. Thoughts?
Yeah, legit concern. Like JT said, probably an increased chance of a knee injury if you are spending more time working on leg locks. Like just statistically, there's going to be. Now, jiu-jitsu is already an injurious sport. So, you know, it's not like I think if we're already choosing to train jiu-jitsu, knowing that chances of injury are high generally, then maybe that's like, well, like leg locks or not, like you're always exposed.
Yes.
Right? I think if you're very deliberate about how you train leg locks and you can trust your training partners and you can understand when you are in a position where it's like high stakes and they do too, and you have that little, thing. Yeah, and yep, tap, got me. Like, you know, before I like tap early, right? Versus if you don't know where you are, and this happened to me like as a black belt when I was just kind of diving into it for the first time, someone like pulls a really quick fucking single leg X on me and throws an outside heel hook.
Yeah.
And before I even know what's happening, my knee feels like it's tearing.
Ooh.
And I'm like, holy shit, like that could have been really bad. So after that moment, I had a chat with my training partner. I was like, bro, like, please don't do that, because I was actually kind of unaware, and he was like, oh, dude, no sweat. And now we have a really good relationship with how we exchange leg locks if that's where the game goes.
Yeah.
So
it's just difficult because you're also at a new gym.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you're rolling with
relationship.
Gianni Rippo, rip your leg off, and they don't care. They don't care. You've got to, provide for your family, your pregnant wife.
I think it's a call that you got to make. Couldn't say it for you. You don't want to neglect a whole side of the game, and you don't want to be like there are elements of it that are in your control, But at the same time, if you're feeling like I'm a bit at risk here, then maybe the best decision is just to reduce that risk as much as you can.
Yeah, and I don't think it means you have to change gyms. If you've gone there specifically because they're teaching something you want to learn, that's great. I think you've just got to tell your training partners, hey, man, I need these knees.
Or just bring that anti-leg lock game. just heavy drive with the upper body.
Get low,
hips and
knees
legs back.
And
just be a menace on top.
Old school crush.
Yep. All right, next one. Anonymous. On the show, we talk about how you can get healthy for jiu-jitsu and practices that you want to have as part of your day-to-day so that you can be in the best possible shape to train. And this is whether you're an athlete or just the everyday jiu-jitsu hobbyist. One of those habits is using electrolytes. We've spoken about this on other episodes, and electrolytes, although incredibly simple, are one of the missing links for people when it comes to performance. And the beauty of electrolytes is that they allow us to be hydrated. So we're talking about salt, potassium, and magnesium. Now, today's show is actually brought to you by Sodi, and this is a crew that we've been partnered with now. We are using Sodi on a daily basis, and the beauty of what these guys do, this little Australian company, is that they put in a beautiful mix of salt, potassium, and magnesium, and delicious flavors. You punch it in some water, I throw it into a protein shaker, I put 1 or 2 of these bad boys in there, and I drink it before, during, and after training. I just sip on that thing, and I tell you what, my hydration levels feel better than ever before, and it's delicious. Sometimes I use it first thing in the morning. I even pumped one last night because I felt a little bit parched after dinner. So go check out Sodi, SODII.com.au, and use the code Bulletproof15, and you will get 15% off your order. Get hydrated, get Sodi.
Mysterious.
Hey guys, really appreciate all your content. The Bulletproof for BJJ app has really had a huge positive impact on my training. I'm a brand new white belt, been at it for about 3 months now.
Cool.
I really appreciate the mental divide between the domains of fitness and skill, and the Bulletproof app is really helping my fitness side of jiu-jitsu a lot. Do you have any recommendations for tools online that can help the skill side as well? I know that a lot of it is just exposure and being on the mats and you know, trying and learning and getting my ass kicked. But I was just curious if you had any suggestions for things that would help that side of the game as well. Thanks again for all your content. Later.
Can we go past Submeta?
Well, I think you can. I mean, I am a big fan of submeta.io, which is Lachlan Giles's platform. Lockie's done a good job of creating something which isn't just video content. It does step you through the techniques, but then it will ask you questions. So I think you're like, oh, hang on. Because it'll say, which is the best foot position? And it'll give you 4 photos. You're like, I was like, hang on, did I zone out? So it does kind of keep you...
Am I authenticating my identity right now? That sounds like a signing
yeah, like in which of these photos... in which of these photos is the heel hook actually on?
That's so cool though.
Yeah. And it gives you a little Q&A, like what is the most important thing to do? A, B, or C? Like what should you be focusing on?
Yeah.
I think that's great. And I think also Lockie's going a long way to give more info. It's not just him. He's got Craig on there. He's got a few people on there now to expand the knowledge.
Right.
But if you wanted to learn something, and I'm a big fan, you could get an instructional from BJJ Fanatics or Jiu-Jitsu or, Jiu-Jitsu X. Like there's
so much out there.
There's so much out there for you to access. I think the other thing is, which is interesting to me, is that there is flows that you can put together for techniques. So you can say, right, here's close guard. Now here's the sweep. Now here's this thing.
Where's that?
You can create a mind map. I think it's called BJJ or MyoFlow or something like that. And it's an app where you map out your jiu-jitsu. And there's also something I think called jiu-jitsu mind maps or something like that, a different kind of thing where you can actually kind of digitally log techniques and stuff. So look,
heaps of options.
Yeah, a lot of options in that way. And I think it is worthwhile spending a little bit of time doing almost like a bit of theoretical study to just get your brain going when you're not on the mat. If
I was old, mate, I would probably go to Submeta because I don't like making decisions about that stuff. And you're more studious with jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
And, so if I were more studious, I could, like, Fanatics would work with because I go, I'll get that, Gordon series on whatever and I'll learn that whole shit. But I really like what I see from Submeta in terms of, like, It just kind of helps you to navigate to the next point and the next point. And that speaks to me. The other option, man, that you got is like speak to your coach and maybe do some privates.
Yeah.
Like use that as your technical guidance. Be like, all right, coach, like here's what I'm getting and I understand, but I'm getting a bit lost here and here. Coach, if they're, half decent, should be able to help you navigate a sequence or a game out of that.
Yeah, direct feedback helps, and recording that also helps. So you've got your own reference point for your skill improvement.
Coming in with a second question, Anonymous.
I'm excited.
Why's that?
We have an apparel sponsor, Parry Athletic.
Bro, George came through, messaged us on the Instagram, said he's been following our program for ages. He's getting stronger and more mobile. And he's got this cool gear company called Parry, and he wants to send us some stuff.
And he told me that his mission was to create the best pair of training shorts ever.
Yeah, he wanted something that he could lift and roll in, and that could accommodate thick, muscular thighs and hips.
And that suits us.
Speaks to us.
Also, what I like is I love the colorful design. It actually looks really cool.
I am the most colorful dude on the mats these days, hands down.
I think the thing that I've loved about it is just it feels good. It feels good. It looks good. And you, ladies and gentlemen, can get a discount when you go to checkout. If you go to parryathletics.com, put in the code bulletproof20 and you get 20% off. Oh, yeah. Same Anonymous?
Hey, yo, I've got a quick question for you guys. Just because I've run into a weird situation. I've only been training Jiu Jitsu for a year, but I was a wrestler for, 10 years, and I went to state a couple times.
Ooh, tough guy.
In high school, I did MMA before I got just into grappling in general. And now, as a white belt who's only been doing this for a year, I've been tapping out a lot of blue and purple belts, and I mainly do no-gi, so it's not like a big deal, but just to give you guys an indicator on like where I'm at progress-wise. And it's such a weird situation because people are asking me questions about different, techniques that I do and different movements I do and why do I do this and that and whatever. And I never have a good answer for it. And even, for example, one of the guys I've, worked with has asked me about wrestling because I wrestled for a long time. But my wrestling changes, obviously, as the rule set changes. And I'm always afraid of giving somebody the wrong advice for the wrong piece that they're looking for. If you guys could just give me some feedback on how you guys take on, any coaching roles or anytime anybody asks you any questions, because it's a really weird situation when I've never coached. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. I just want your guys' 2 cents on it. Appreciate it.
Can I come at this one first?
The natural, please.
The natural. So brother, when someone asks JT a question about technique, JT can say, I know 5 different ways that we could approach this. Here's what Marcelo would do. Here's what Lo does. Like he has the almanac of jiu-jitsu in his head, right? And can break it down for them. I say, I don't know, I just do it. Yeah. I am not a intellectual jiu-jitsu guy. I'm just a doer. It's always been my way. And I'm a black belt, right? So people ask me and I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you, man. Like I'm just honest about that. So for you, right? You're saying like people ask me, I don't know, tell them there's nothing wrong with saying like, bro, I don't know, I just do the shit.
Yeah.
Sure. But at the same time, like if you've got some wrestling technique that you're using that's working well for you, teach them because they don't have, like most jiu-jitsu, most grapplers don't have wrestling basics.
Yeah. I agree with Joey on this one. But this is where we see that you are possibly a really athletic guy with great skills, but you've never had to impart it or teach it. You just had to be the doer, and you're very good at the doing. That's awesome. And you shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes in the sense of if somebody knows nothing and you know plenty, just show them what you know. Just like when you get here, do that. And I do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it definitely highlights that there is a skill to coaching as well as being the athlete, and that it could be worthwhile for you to actually investigate becoming, learning some coaching skills and communication skills that enable you to unlock this. But I would say part of that comes from doing. You just show them what you know. And this is what my first Taekwondo instructor ever said to me when I was younger. He was like, you have a skill, they don't, they want to know it, you show them. And obviously when you first start, maybe you're not the best communicator, but man, everyone around you will get better. And don't worry about the belt level thing. If you've got 10 years of wrestling, MMA, and
you're
all this,
you're elite
you're already a weapon. And don't worry about the awkwardness of tapping out higher belts. Like, they just need to get better.
They need to worry about that.
You probably need to get promoted to blue belt, probably. But yeah, all I'd say to you is, man, just share. That's the great thing about jiu-jitsu. You can learn from everybody. So, man, share it. You'll get feedback on the way you share it, and I'm sure your club will be better for you sharing your really good knowledge, and they'll be less resentful for you.
Yeah, you know, one thing, like when you're framing, like when you're teaching someone something, so, you know, old mate is saying like, look, I got good wrestling, right? But I don't understand jiu-jitsu. So when you're framing something, when you're teaching a jiu-jitsu person something, a component of wrestling that they can use in jiu-jitsu, what you don't want to say is, this is the best thing to do.
Sure.
Right? Because you don't know, because you don't understand jiu-jitsu yet. But what you can say is, well, this is what works really well for me. This is what I've always done. Or when I get here, I do this. And that's super honest. You're not telling someone that that's exactly what they should do, or that is the best answer to X problem. It's just like, hey, here's what I do. It's take it or leave it. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm a coach and I see someone in class and they're coaching somebody else in that way, and I can hear that, I'm like, that's great. That's exactly what we want. But if I hear someone that's like, yo, this is the best answer to this problem, I'm like, no, because there is no best answer.
Nah, never.
You know, unless you are Marcelo or...
Yeah, well, even then, there's always, I think the thing about jiu-jitsu is there's always an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
There's always some other counterpoint. But, you know, clearly what you're doing is working, and people are either hating you or loving you for it. And share with more people, and you'll have more people loving you than hating you.
This wave of wrestlers entering the world of jiu-jitsu is exciting and also frustrating, because it really does just expose so many gaps, particularly in the no-gi game, even the gi game, right? In terms of top control, dominance, like aggression, athleticism, like all these takedown, you know, like just all this great stuff. I think we're going to see some really interesting, like I'm sure heaps of people here and there are like, yeah, that's me. Like I'm up everyone at my school, and I'm 2 weeks in.
Yeah. But what's so funny, there was is it the Show Your Roll tapes? Yeah. There was like, you know, it's funny because the tape was, hey, I'm not a Div 1 wrestler. I'm Div 3. I wasn't even that good. I'm still everybody up in my gym. And then it's got all these like jiu-jitsu guys going, man, I rode this Div 1 wrestler. And they're like, all of them are complaining.
Pretty sure he was an Olympian.
I'm pretty sure that guy was like 80cc champion. But it's like, no, you don't actually have to be. Like, it's so hard.
He did 6 months of wrestling when he was 9 years old.
It's so hard to be Division 1 or NCAA champ. Like, that's almost no one, right?
Yeah.
Just be a solid wrestler. You'll most jiu-jitsu guys up.
Yeah.
And I think that what will make jiu-jitsu better and more well-rounded is having great guys like this come through and share that knowledge, and then everyone can level up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for the questions, fam. If you want to leave one, go to the webpage, bulletproof for BJJ.com, hit the podcast tab, and then you can record us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show. If you dig the episode, share it with a friend, and do us this favor. We ask one thing: like it and subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're on. That goes a really long way to supporting the show and helping other jiu-jitsu athletes hear about it.
For sure.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.